Welcome back to another day of ladder up, sort of, where today we're doing another battle from the Midseason Showdown last Saturday, and this is my round 3 match versus, I believe, Nissan? I don't remember, but we're just going to go ahead and go into it, and I don't remember. Oh, did I just turn that up? I don't remember this one very well. Okay, no, never mind, I do remember this. Alright, so his team was very unconventional. I wasn't sure what to expect, but here I wanted to lead Salamence definitely to intimidate a possible Landorus lead, and also because Salamence is just a great lead in general. And what in case you don't know here, okay, so you see that my Intimidate goes before his, so that's just a neat little way to check to see the item on their Landorus. So, you know, if there are very few Landorus run Choice Scarf, but if they are Choice Scarf, then their Intimidate will go before my Salamence's. So I know that he might not be Choice Banned or whatever, but he's definitely not going to outspeed me, so that's nice. And so here, my first initial thought is, I'm thinking this is not Mega Gengar. I'm thinking it's either he's going to explode first turn, or he's going to just like straight up Earthquake, or I was very worried about a superpower on Ferrothorn, but I didn't really care that much just because he's intimidated, so Ferrothorn can easily live it. What can the Gengar really do in return? And my biggest concern here is just, I don't want him to Icy Wind my Salamence, and then me take a bunch of damage, or like he could like Icy Wind Rock Slide and that'd be bad. I was also worried about an explosion, so between the explosion and the Icy Wind, I know I have to protect Salamence, because as soon as I can outspeed the Gengar, I can just hit it with a Hyper Voice and do a ton of damage, and I thought it's better for me to let Ferrothorn take damage this turn and just Gyro Ball into the Gengar, break a possible Focus Sash, and then next turn I can Hyper Voice to pick up a double KO most likely. So that's the play that I'm going for here. I'm going to Mega Evolve, protect Salamence, and then Mega Evolve, protect Salamence, and then Gyro Ball his Gengar. So at this point I'm thinking, you know, I was really feeling like he was going to Explosion, but then I see the Icy Wind and I think, no, he's just going to Earthquake. So luckily the Icy Wind actually increases the power of my Gyro Ball, and he ends up going for the Earthquake, which does a sizable chunk to Ferrothorn, really. I think it brings me down to half. Yes, it does. Okay, so my Gyro Ball goes off, and you'll see that it doesn't actually take the Gengar down to Sash, which is interesting, to me at least. Okay, so at this point I'm thinking to myself, alright, well, I don't know what kind of roll that was on the Gengar, but either way it doesn't matter. So I would have actually liked to have gotten a little bit more damage on the Gengar, just so I would either, if it's not Focus Sash, knock it out. Or if it was Focus Sash, I would know it was Focus Sash, because I'm worried about, he has a Rayquaza in the back, and I'm worried about finding out its item. So at this point, I think if he wants to switch something out or protect, fine. I assume the Landorus doesn't have protect, so I'm fine here just sending a Gyro Ball at the Landorus and Hyper Voicing the Salamence, and I just want to put as much damage on the board as possible this turn. So I end up going for that. And I know that at -1 speed, my Ferrothorn's Gyro Ball would probably actually one hit KO the Landorus, depending on its spread. If it's 4 HP, I think I pick it up. Maybe not, but I know at half health, I definitely get it. So Ferrothorn's taken 2 Earthquakes at this point. My Salamence hasn't taken any damage, so I assumed I was banded. So I know in the back he's got, I believe, Kyogre and Rayquaza, and I'm feeling pretty good. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good at this point. But, you know, it's not over. Kyogre is kind of an outdated mode, I think, at this point, but it's still pretty powerful, really. And I'm just now noticing that my capture is not fitting on the screen entirely, so that's unfortunate. Yeah, some of Rayquaza's life bar is cut off, but yeah, that's okay. So at this point, what was I going for? I don't remember what I did. Let's see. Okay, hindsight. I think at this point, I think I would protect Salamence and try to Leech Seed into the Rayquaza maybe, or Gyro Ball. I really don't remember what I do here, actually. I actually don't remember. Oh no, I think I went for a substitute with the Salamence. Yeah, I think I went for a substitute to try and scout out what item he was, and it was basically I find out the item, or I get a free switch into Groudon if like he, let's say, Dragon Ascents and Ice Beams. If he were to Extreme Speed for whatever reason, and Ice Beam into Salamence, I would actually have the substitute up for the Ice Beam. This is just basically, if he wants to protect or something, I get a substitute up. If not, I still don't take a terrible amount of damage. And then I'm pretty sure I went for a Leech Seed with Ferrothorn. Why don't I remember this better? The actions were going for a Water Spout, and it does a good amount to everyone. The Ferrothorn, being the beast that Ferrothorn is, hangs on. And I did go for the Leech Seed. And I thought this Kyogre is going to sit here for a while. It's got a lot of HP. I can sit here and recover a lot. Because I know Ferrothorn is going to sit right there in its little spot on the right side of the screen and just be a pretty little Ferrothorn and recover health. And the Rayquaza really at this point is the biggest issue. So I think at this point, I think I decide to protect Ferrothorn and just like let Salamence either go down to extreme speed or get a little bit of damage off with Hyper Voice and get a free switch into Cresselia. Yeah, so I do protect Ferrothorn. He reveals the extreme speed, and so I know at this point that he's not Life Orb. So I am assuming that he is Focus Sash, which at this point I'm realizing I've got to get some damage on this Rayquaza. The Ferrothorn is getting health back, but at the same time, Rayquaza is just so annoying because you think it's frail, but it's actually not as frail as you think, and it does a lot of damage. Life Orb does so much damage. Life Orb, Dragon Ascent picks up Ferrothorn right here, and there's not a whole lot I can do about it. At this point, I'm pretty sure I think to myself, he's either going to Dragon Ascent the Cresselia. He's going to do that, or if he has Overheat, which most Rayquaza on these teams have, like Dragon Ascent, Extreme Speed, Overheat, Protect, or they'll have like Dragon Ascent, Swords Dance, Overheat, Protect, something like that, or no, Dragon Ascent, Extreme Speed, Swords Dance, Protect. Basically, if they're running a Kyogre team, they usually have Overheat as a way to deal with Ferrothorn, even though Dragon Ascent still does a ton of damage. But if you're Focus Sash, you definitely want Overheat, because you don't want to Dragon Ascent a Ferrothorn and break your Sash with the Iron Barbs. So at this point I'm really worried about the Overheat, but then I think to myself, if he wants to Overheat, he'll neuter his special attack, and at that point I know that I can just start hitting the Rayquaza with Ice Beams, and I can bring in Groudon, and there's not a whole lot that he can do about it, especially since I have the Leech Seed up on his Kyogre. Like what little damage he'll do to my Groudon will actually get healed back. So I think at this point I just Gyro Ball into, I think I double into the Rayquaza with Ice Beam Gyro Ball. But he reveals the Overheat, which, obviously is going to go into Ferrothorn and just wreck it pretty friggin' hard. But that's okay, because now he's at -2 special attack. He's at -1 defense and special defense. And he ends up going for a Water Spout, which, not in the rain, doesn't do a terrible amount to Cresselia. And I'm thinking here, and I know from my EV spread, I'm like, at this point, I'm literally doing math in my head trying to figure out what percentage my Cresselia is at, because I don't know the actual numbers for the damage calc, but I know Cresselia. Oh, I know my Cresselia can live a Dragon Ascent. Let me let the Primal version go. I know my Cresselia can live a Dragon Ascent at this range, and with the Citrus Berry, I know I can live an Ice Beam if he wants to double into it for whatever reason, because I have, he can't go for Water Move because I have Groudon out. And at this point, I'm thinking, okay, I gotta punch the Rayquaza, punch the Quaza, basically. I was like, if he like crits Groudon somehow, like what I have to Ice Beam into. Basically, I have to double into Rayquaza here, like I did last turn. But I end up actually living. I end up living with less than I thought, actually. So it's not the end of the world because I can still take an Ice Beam. Just, I think the Ice Beam would be a roll. So he ends up Ice Beaming, I think, into Groudon. Yeah, he Ice Beams into Groudon. And I just decide to Fire Punch the Rayquaza, which, even though it's resisted in the sun, the physical Groudon Fire Punch when it's got -1 defense. It's not taking that. So at this point, I don't want to Trick Room because there's really no need to. I'd rather just get as much damage as possible. And yeah, with the Leech Seed up, I'm able to heal up a ton of damage. So I think at this point, I decide I'm just going to go Protect Groudon and go for Gravity. Yeah, just to make my Precipice Blades 100% accurate. And even if he takes out my Cresselia, I get another Eternal Leech Seed. It's not the end of the world. But he actually attacks into Groudon, and I get the Gravity up. And now the game's pretty much over because he just can't stop the onslaught that is Primal Groudon in the sun late game next to Cresselia. It's too good. And you see, Groudon took a lot of damage, and he's back to full health. So Leech Seed really helping out, and I cannot impress upon you guys how much I relied on Ferrothorn during this tournament. I really just Ferrothorn. I think I brought it to every single game, honestly. Maybe. I'm pretty sure I did. So that's it today, guys, for Ladder Up. Even though it's not really Ladder Up. I'll see you back tomorrow for my round 4 game, which is the last round of Swiss for this tournament, against my good friend Danny. So if you like it, feel free to like, comment, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Feel free to criticize my plays or whatever. Just feel free to say anything. And I hope to see you back tomorrow. Peace.